Hello, my name is Francis Nendere. I'm a principal technology analyst at AutoSens. Today, you're watching AutoSens Insights. And today we are with Alex Loita. He is a technology product manager and product development Europe for Opsys. Hello, Alex.
Good morning, Francis, and pleased to talk to AutoSens Auditory.
Great having you here. Please, Alex, could you give us a few words, explain where you fit in the ecosystem and what you do in terms of LiDAR at Opsys?
Sure, would be happy to oblige. So Opsys is the company specializing in solid-state LiDAR development. The company itself was founded some 5 years ago and went through few iterations of different LiDAR principles to achieve solid state and high performance at the same time. And now we came to our hopefully final iteration when we promoting our Microflash technology, which is a hybrid between scanning LiDAR and flash LiDAR, and is capable of doing a solid state device with a scanning mechanism without any kind of moving parts, either on macro or micro level.
Very good. So you said it's a solid state device. I understand this is where I should say an end game for LiDAR manufacturers. How long have you been working on this product?
Well, in principle, the work is going on for all 5 years. It's just through the course of work, we changed our concept a few times. So initial idea, which we tried, proved to be not working as we expected, so we had to shift our architecture quite a bit, the design techniques we used. So now what we are doing is a SPAD array and addressable to de-addressable VXL array for illumination combination. This gives us a device with complexity approximate to stereo camera for automotive, and with sufficient performance to address most of the level 3, level 4 applications.
And you say you had to make some iterations there. How are you reaching the typical expected parameters in terms of the pixel resolution, speed resolution, distance, use in fog or dark scenes? Can you explain a little bit about that? How you perform?
So in our system on imager side, we are using a SPAD array with multi-SPADs pixels with multiple return per pixel. So this allows us to tackle fog issue or some unwanted noise issue quite nicely, since we are able to get multiple return per pixel. For the effective range or performance on some special targets, like for example, nice shiny black vehicles without retroreflectors and so on, we are tackling this on our emitter side when we are using 2D addressable VXLs, which you can imagine as a matrix on a single die, where we are able to control each of the cells in this matrix separately. This firing these cells one by one allows us to keep very low beam divergence and keep very high energy density, thus reaching the distances which are more typical for two-dimensional raster scan system rather than for flash LiDAR or one-dimensional raster scan systems.
And with this architecture, have you needed to make special accommodations for oncoming flashing lights? We hear presently there seems to be a lot of discussion about what happens, say, if a police car is coming your way or in front of you, or stoplights, or flickering, things like this?
Yes, of course. This is behavior we seen multiple times during our road testing. So for this, we introduce a mechanism to mitigate this issue via random delay of the pulse we are emitting. So this allows us to spread this incoming signal, let's say external interference, to spread the signal over wider area of our sampling, and therefore to make it more similar to the noise pattern and filter it much easier.
Okay, good. Thank you for the information. And when it comes to perception, a lot of things are going on. Some automotive makers, OEMs, system integrators are working with several different detectors, sometimes with LiDAR and camera, maybe with radar, maybe something at the corners of the car or the vehicle, whatever it may be. How do you deal with that? How does this interfacing, how do you approach this?
Well, for perception, first and most of all, Opsys is not doing perception as it is, because we believe that a lot of LiDAR companies, they going into perception area partly because they are not fully successful on hardware level. So we want to do hardware level perfect first, and then once our hardware level is working as expected, as we want it to work, then we will start thinking about something else. So for our interfacing, we provide raw scan points with some compensations for noise, with some basic classification of scan points, but basically it's just a point cloud with heavily timestamp. So for whatever system does perception, it can easily fuse this data with information from other sensors or use it for perception based on our sensor alone.
Okay, so then you see yourselves as a major component in a value chain, and that would require you, of course, interfacing with the OEMs and the vehicle manufacturers, and also the perception engine and software people. How does this channel operate? How do you engage customers, and then are able to work with your customer and also the supplier of the software and the mechanism for the perception?
Well, basically, during the current state of the industry, we had to support both models because in some of the, for example, in some of our discussion with OEMs, some prefer to do vertical integration and to do perception quite heavily on their side. Such OEMs are happy to get just scan points from us and use it to their liking. On the other hand, some prefer to get full stack solution with perception algorithm built in, or at least provided as additional computation box. And for such customers, we cater through partnership with different perception companies. When we are trying to build prototypes together, integrating third-party perception into our sensor, or just establishing communication interface with a third-party computational box and using this as a joint solution.
Okay, thank you. So then I have to ask the next question. How does a customer engage with you? You're on the market, you have your LiDAR system. If I'm interested, how do I approach you? How does this happen?
Well, first of all, of course, we are trying to talk to quite a lot of OEM, both customers and partners for potential cooperation. And we are participating in different RFIs, RFQs for serial production to get relevant feedback both on our market position and for our development targets. But in general, working with us, really either we are trying to add as a lead supplier and bring in ecosystem with us, with perception, with some other competences needed, for example, for validation activities of such product, or we are happily partner with, for example, with tier ones when we provide them some, let's say, key elements of our sensor for them to do final assembly and provide the final product to the OEM.
And where do you see the market going then? Lots happening out there. There's always a lot happening in this part of the industry. Where do you see things in the future?
Well, it looks like the LiDAR hasn't been coming to really mature mass production ready product as fast as everybody expected it some 6-7 years ago. And it seems like it will take a few more years before it reach the point where it's really sufficiently cheap and robust for mass market automotive sensor. So I think the next few years in this sense will be crucial. Whatever LiDAR will become part of the regular sensor system for automotive driving, or whatever it will be pushed out by something else.
You also become involved with systems to monitor the cabin, for example, or other spaces around the car besides the mostly forward LiDAR, or do you look at every aspect?
We definitely look at every outside a monitoring aspect. So we do provide long range system, we do provide surround view system, short range system. All of this application we are capable of tackling with our technology. For in-cabin monitoring, we are not engaging simply because we believe that the technology we are using would be significant overkill for this type of application. And because of this unnecessary, let's say, technical capabilities, we will not be able to stay competitive on the price for such type of application.
Of course, yeah, of course. But just good to know. Good to know. And what do you expect to show at the Brussels exhibition this year?
In Brussels, I'm expected to discuss a little bit on different needs or different use cases for level 3, level 4 autonomous driving, how they are often being, I would not say incorrectly addressed, but because of technical limitation, it's very often to address these use cases in the best possible way, and to explain a little bit how Opsys is trying to address these cases due to modularity of our technology. So, for example, very typical situation is highway pilot in more extreme ways when the broader field of view is needed, usually above 120 degrees. A lot of customers in these cases are opting for 2 LiDARs in the front of the vehicle, and run into the problem that with traditional scanning LiDAR using MEMS or rotating mirror, the field of view on one LiDAR is not sufficiently big, and if they put 2, they put maximum performance area not along the driving tube of the vehicle as it should be according to application, but somehow to the sides. Thus, they lose the sweet spot of this sensor performance for the application they need, and they have to either reduce their application requirement or unnecessary increase requirements for the sensor they are using.
Good explanation. Thank you. Thank you for that. So then who is best to drop by your booth and have this discussion with you? What level in the country, or the company, or what type of person?
Well, we definitely do a lot of talking, and me particularly, to different kind of OEMs to better understand their use cases, to better understand what kind of coverage they need, so we can provide really tailored solution for their need. We are quite happy to discuss all kind of partnership, and in general, because I'm been involved in LiDAR building for the last 6 years. So in general, I'm quite happy to share generic experience and generic information on this type of devices, and some interesting use cases around it.
Very good. Good. Well, thank you for that. And is there anything in parting that you'd like to mention or say?
For the Brussels, we will definitely, beside my discussion on these use cases and system tailoring, we will definitely have a live demo on our booth. So we will welcome all the visitors to stop by and see by themselves how the system is performing. And beyond that, yeah, I'm looking to being able to visit Brussels again to do this talk, and I hope to get engaged in a lot of interesting conversations in Brussels.
Yes, it'll be nice to be face to face again.
Exactly.
Great. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you, Alex, for the conversation. And I would like to tell all the viewers that you are listening to AutoSens Insights. Don't pass us by at the Brussels Trade Show, and please stop by the booth of Opsys and speak with Alex.
Thank you for this opportunity, and have a nice day.
Thank you again, and you can find us on our website at AutoSens, or look for us on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much.